January 20th, 2020. I actually have a lot of topics I want to talk about today, but this video is going to be dedicated to a single article. And this article is a disgusting and dangerous example of propaganda and social engineering and how they're trying to go around the parents and directly influence the youth. So before we jump into the actual article, I'm just going to revisit some slides from my social engineering presentation. If you hadn't watched that one, I do recommend it, but we'll touch on some of the slides just to emphasize the points of how they're doing this with these articles. So let me jump over to those slides. And if you recall, we learned a little bit about Edward Bernays, the book he wrote on propaganda, The Public Mind in the Making. It's a groupthink mentality, and the public mind is a very powerful and easy way to manipulate the masses. Just going to talk about the first paragraph in chapter 1. It says, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas are suggested, largely by men we have never ever heard of. In almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics, business, social conduct, ethical thinking, we're dominated by this relatively small number of people who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind and who harness old social forces and contrive new ways to bind and guide the world. Okay, then that was Edward Bernays. Here's a little from Bertrand Russell. This is important to understand before we jump into this article. I think the subject, which will be of most importance politically, is mass psychology. Its importance has been enormously increased by the growth of modern methods of propaganda. Of these, the most influential is what's called education. So yes, the majority of our public education is total propaganda. It's lies. And it's important that we teach our kids that as they're in class, if they're attending public school, that we come home and discuss, so what did you learn today? Can you tell me what, was fact? And Carter's great. He's always challenging his teachers and then coming back with facts. And they're like, oh my gosh, I never knew that, especially in health. They go on and says, it may be hoped that in time, anybody will be able to persuade anybody of anything if you can catch the patient young and is provided with the resources, basically. This will make great strides when it is taken up by scientists under a scientific dictatorship. And every article is geared toward how basically you can tell we're being run by the scientific dictatorship. The social psychologists of the future will have a number of classes of school children, different ones, in whom they will try different methods of producing an unshakable conviction that snow is black. So this is just an example, right? So they're using all these different methods. Think of the classroom, the internet, anything, church, the doctor's office, all kind of molding you to believe these specific social norms. In this case, he's saying that snow is black as an example. I'm going to equate snow is black to vaccines are safe and effective, of course. Various results will soon be arrived at. First, that the influence of home is obstructive. That means critical thinking, independent thinking parents get in the way. Second, that not much can be done unless the indoctrination begins young. He says before the age of 10, but really they're just going to focus on the youth. Third, that verses set to music repeatedly intoned are very effective, which is, you'll find these messages in music all the time. Fourth, that the opinion that snow is white, anything to the contrary of the popular belief must be held to show a morbid taste of eccentricity. You're eccentric. You're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist, right? If you believe that snow is white, which it is, or that vaccines are dangerous, which they are, you are held to show a morbid taste of eccentricity. You are an eccentric, crazy person. It is for future scientists to make these maxims precise and discover exactly how much effort it takes to get these kids to believe that snow is black, or whatever the narrative they want you to believe, versus how much less to really just kind of buy into the majority of that narrative, even if you have your own doubts. Okay, so keep all of this in mind, and let's jump over to the article. This comes from WikiHow. It was published on January 9th. How to get vaccinated without parental consent. Okay? Remember, the influence of home is obstructive to get the masses to believe the narratives that they want us engineered to believe. So, how do you get around that obstruction? You teach your kids that they don't have to listen to their parents. They can lie to them whatever they want. So we're going to actually read this article together. There's a lot of misinformation about vaccines online. And I just did a video that says the WHO on the anti-vax misinformation. And what they state is it's not misinformation. That's why we can't just delete it from the internet, because it's true. But they don't want you to know that. There's a lot of misinformation about vaccines online, and sometimes well-meaning parents fall into these rabbit holes of conspiracy theories and made-up facts, while they often intend to protect their children. Not vaccinating has the opposite effect and leaves kids more vulnerable to dangerous and even deadly diseases. Please be aware that there are risks to any medical procedure, and receiving your vaccine without your parent or guardian's knowledge will make it more difficult for them to help you in the unlikely event of a problem. So they're basically telling you, yeah, there is risk, and you're putting yourself at great risk by doing it behind their back, but it's okay, you should do it anyway. So method number 1, making the plans. Look at your options. Some areas let you get vaccinated without parental consent if you're a minor, and others don't, but there are still potential options. Get vaccinated in secret, if your local laws allow it. Run the risk of your family finding out. Try asking for your family to let you be vaccinated. You may be able to convince them. Try asking your doctor or your school nurse or another responsible adult to help convince your family. Petition the court for emancipation if your parents are really bad. Emancipation. They're pushing to emancipate yourself from your family to go get vaccinated. Wait until you're 18 if you think your parents would severely punish or abuse you if they learned you disobeyed them. This is some serious mental pressure they're putting on kids just in these tips. Getting you to believe that your parents are crazy, even though all that's ever being showed is factual information. Number 2, try talking to your parents. Explain your worries. Let them voice theirs. Make sure that it's a two-way conversation and that you show respect for their perspectives even when they frustrate you. Okay, the subconscious manipulation here is extreme. Let them make sure it's a two-way conversation. Show respect for their perspectives even when it frustrates you. It takes time and often good listening skills to change people's minds. So try saying things like, why did you choose not to vaccinate me? Were you afraid of something bad would happen if you did? Well, I've read about what shingles can do to the body. I'm scared. I don't want that to happen to me. I have found some research on vaccine safety. May I show it to you? I understand that people are saying a lot of scary things, and that can be hard to figure out what's true and what isn't true. I know it must be difficult for you, Mom and Dad. What could I do to show you how much this means to me? Number 3, ask your parents for information on what vaccines you haven't received. Well, you have or haven't received. This lets you know what you're already vaccinated against. If your parents really hate vaccines, you could pretend that you want to know if you're at risk for vaccine injury, or that you think a health problem you have might be caused by the vaccines you had. You're tricking them. You are allowed to lie to your parents if it's the only way you can get the information you need to protect your health. Later, you can say that you researched it and realized you don't have the vaccine injury. Try saving a digital copy like a photo or information you typed in case they want those records back. Number 4, research the laws if you're a minor. Again, some areas allow teenagers to get health care without parental consent. Figure out what your rights are. State laws determine your rights in the U.S. Some states allow teens to get health care without parental consent if the teen is deemed mature enough. Some Title X clinics have fewer restrictions. So, if your doctor says they can't legally vaccinate you, start clinic hopping. Ask if there's another place that can. Number 5, try visiting different clinics to see if they can help you. Just walk in and ask a doctor's office, a pharmacy, or a reproductive health center. They may be able to tell you that they can vaccinate you, or they may at least be able to give you advice or suggest a different clinic. Number 6, consider getting another adult to help you out, especially if you're young, because navigating medical procedures and regulations on your own can be confusing sometimes, and sometimes frustrating. It can help to have an adult ally who has more experience. So on one hand, they're saying you're not mature enough or on one hand, they're saying you can make this decision on your own. Then on the other, they're saying, it's kind of a hard thing to do without an adult. So if your parents aren't going to do it, go find someone else. Try talking to a school counselor, a school nurse, a parent of a friend, a family friend, a doctor, or other trusted adults that can help you out. Now, on to getting the shots. Schedule it for the weekend, right? Schedule it on a Friday or the day before a school break if possible, because vaccines often involve mild side effects like lowered energy, mild fever, soreness, or stiffness at the site. A weekend is a perfect time to take it easy while you recover. Expect to be less productive on the weekend after your shot. Thus, if you have big exam or project due, it might be better to wait a week for your shot, aka just in case adverse events happen. Figure out what, if anything, to say to your family. Figure out what, if anything, remember, you can lie to your family, to say to your family. You can say that you're going out and not specify where. You can also tell a white lie, like saying that you're visiting a friend to study or hang out. You're allowed to tell lies to protect your health and safety. You're allowed to lie to your family. We're going to tell you that. And getting vaccinated is one of those cases where you can lie. If you plan to say that you were with a friend, contact that friend and their family, explain that you're actually going to get vaccinated, and ask them to cover for you. Get your friends involved in your lie. You could even decide on a cover story like, we watched the new romantic comedy together. We studied for the upcoming history test together. If your parents are distrustful, prepare your cover story especially well. Try actually doing your cover story activity on a different day and even taking a selfie doing that thing with your friend. This way you'll have evidence of doing it and you can answer questions if they quiz you. Man, they're really covering their bases on how to lie to your parents. Consider bringing a friend for moral support, especially if you're afraid of needles. You don't have to do it alone. Talk to your doctor about any concerns. The doctor's here to help you stay healthy, and that includes removing any barriers to your care, including your parents, even if those barriers are parental attitudes. You can ask your doctor for advice about handling anti-vaxxer parents. They may even have helpful pamphlets. That's awesome. If you think that your parents might have told you something false, you can relate what they said to the doctor and ask if it's a myth, because doctors have so much education on vaccines. According to the World Health Organization, half a day at best. If you're scared of needles, tell the nurse. They've given shots to lots of people who are afraid, and you could do their best to help you through it. Number 5, try treating yourself after you get a shot. Shots can be a stressful experience for some people, including teens and adults. Reward yourself. Go out and buy yourself something nice within reason. Maybe a treat like some ice cream from your favorite place or a candy bar. That's a great choice. Watch a movie you've been wanting to see. Make that purchase you've been saving up for. Get a library book. Plan a relaxing evening at home. Arrange to hang out with someone whose company you'll really enjoy. Handling the aftermath. Be sure to rest after your vaccine, especially if you don't feel well. You may feel mild side effects like a low fever, pain in your arm. These usually resolve themselves within a few days. You can just tell your family that you're feeling under the weather. You can say, I think I might be fighting off some type of illness, because you are. If you don't feel safe telling them about the vaccine, drink water and take it easy. Don't worry about mild side effects. They're just signs that your body is hard at work learning to fight off the disease you are vaccinated against. And be sure to check reputable websites or contact your doctor if you have any unexpected or worrisome side effects. But don't go into what any of those might be, like anaphylactic shock, paralysis, rashes, brain damage, seizures. Remember kids, that you don't have to tell your parents about getting vaccinated. You can keep your health choices to yourself, especially if they would be mean to you or make you feel unsafe as a result of your choices. You're allowed to keep a secret if it's necessary to promoting your health and well-being. Man, know what to say if they do find out somehow. Show respect for their position, however illogical it may be. Are you catching all of this? Show respect for their position, however illogical it may be, while emphasizing that this is important to you. Oh, I read about meningitis and how quickly it can kill someone. It was scary. I don't want to live with that fear hanging over my head. I know that you might not approve, but I did this to give myself peace of mind. Number 2 kills me. So let's say this kid stopped getting vaccinated because he or she became autistic after vaccination. Here's the response. I'm already autistic. I can't be turned autistic twice, but I could die of polio and I'd really rather not. My gosh. I want to be a mom someday. Vaccine preventable diseases can kill a baby in the womb. So do vaccines. I did this to protect my ability to have children in the future. Man, the propaganda and social engineering in this one article is unreal. It's extremely dangerous, and it's infuriating the way they're teaching kids how to lie to their family members, put their own health at risk, because if they do have an adverse event and they're trying to keep this a secret, this could be a life and death situation, and they're going to be too scared to tell the truth. Let's check out who the authors are here. WikiHow is a wiki similar to Wikipedia, which means that many of our articles are co-written by multiple authors. To create this article, 15 people, some, probably most, anonymous, worked to edit and improve it over time. Together they cited 16 references. This article has also been viewed almost 100,000 times. Holy cow. Guys, stay close to your kids. Don't just tell them things, teach them things, okay? Help them work on their own power of discernment. Teach them to question not only the mainstream narratives, but your own. I tell my kids, don't just listen to me. You get to obey me in the home, but if you question what I'm teaching you, you research it and you look for facts, okay? They know, and I don't just say because I said so. I show them data. I help them understand the truth. And we all should be doing that. Remember, we are the obstacle for propaganda. Critical thinking parents, okay? But it only works if you're stepping outside of the propaganda and not being a follower, okay? Do your research. Be aware of how everyone is being manipulated by the headlines. All right, this is very dangerous. We just looked at an article the other day where bills are being introduced to make it legal for kids to be vaccinated and get access to birth control without parental consent. Now we have articles placed in front of our children that are teaching them how to go about doing these things, how to effectively lie to your family, and it's insane. Anyway, just had to bring this to your attention, and we'll come back maybe later today with another video highlighting other topics outside of this. So, thanks guys.